graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Okay, I need one each of the following tapes. Whispers in the Wind, To Each His Own, Put It Where It Doesn't Belong, My Pipes Need Cleaning, All Tit Fucking Volume 8, I Need Your Cock, Ass Worshipping Rim Jobbers, My Cut and 8 Shafts, Come Clean, Come Gargling Naked Sluts, Come Buns 3, Coming in Socks, Come On Eileen, Huge Black Cocks with Pearly White Cum, Girls Who Crave Cock, Girls Who Crave Cunt, Met Alone 2, The KY Connection, Pink Pussy Lips, oh yeah, and All Holes Filled with Hard Cock.
Oh my! Hello, my fellow Earthlings. This is Hikaru Sulu. You may remember me as the helmsman for the Starship Enterprise. You know, I don't usually listen to podcasts, but when I do, it's Two Strangers, One Podcast. Chris and Paul make me feel like I have a tribble in my pants. Set phases to sexy. Suck it, Shatner.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And this is a fun-packed episode. That sounds corny, right? Fun-packed?
That's what she said.
You're sitting there playing with your pussy and now...
Shut up. This is podcast therapy for me, okay?
Podcast therapy. Let me tell you...
Welcome to the newest episode of Podcast Therapy. My name is Paul Pascritto.
Oh, of course. I have said several times that podcasting is fucking therapy, man, because I would have fucking climbed a clock tower by now. Seriously, I would have been picking off that. Because generally, I mean, we talk about nerdy things on this show, for the most part, but that's the whole reason. Like, I like the name Two Strangers One Podcast. It isn't like devoted. I mean, no offense to the Tsunami Faithful podcast, but it's not like, okay, we're gonna dedicate our lives to something nerdy. But of course, it is generally a nerdy show.
I will say, like, I like the fact that we can talk about whatever, because there are certain things that come up in my personal life or that I see on the news, and I'm just like, dude, I got to vent about this shit. We're about to say something about that.
Yeah.
But
let me just 2 seconds before you even get to that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there are a billion really good superhero movies about to come out, and like, I have friends that share trailers and stuff like that on Facebook. I mean, we all do. Anyone in our world does stuff like that. And honestly, like, okay, the new trailer for the X-Men Days of Future Past came out, and I didn't click on it because you know what? I'm gonna go see this movie anyway. I've seen enough where I know I'm going to go see it. I don't need to be coerced anymore. I'm interested. So
you mean the fact that you were fapping to it?
Yeah. So right before the episode, Paul and I, as we usually do, we kind of talk about what we're going to talk about. And you said, dude, you have to watch the trailer. And I put it on, and I have such a fucking raging nerd boner right now.
Oh my god. I think we actually recorded that, and if we could put it at the end of the episode, I'm going to make it put it at the end of the episode.
Oh, because of fucking... I mean, I guess the trailer's out or whatever. It's not really spoilers. We just saw a Sentinel shoot a fucking beam from his face. Let's not mention the fact that, for the past, 20 years or so that the X-Men movies have kind of been floating around. We've been wanting to see a Sentinel. I mean, ever since, for those of us of our age group, who saw the Sentinels in the cartoon. I mean, X-Men was big in the 90s, of course, the comics itself. But I mean, a lot of us got very familiar with the X-Men through the cartoon. And, you saw the Sentinels. And of course, when you take in the ridiculousness of the cartoon where it's these, big, giant purple and pink freaking robots. But, to see, and we're going to go more into it later on in the episode, I promise you guys. But, to see actual Sentinels in the trailer where it's not like teaser pictures or photos or anything like that, to see actual Sentinels and to see one shoot a laser from his fucking face is the most awesome thing. It's probably like after the birth of my daughter, probably the fucking happiest I've been in a long time. Okay, so
with a raging boner.
I have a raging nerd boner right now. I can't, I am so fucking like giddy, and of course it has nothing to do with like the 4 cups of coffee I just drank, but
No, of course not. Of course not. Yes, it does. Yes, it fucking does. Oh God. No, we haven't done this in a while, so. But I have a lot of pent-up anger towards the city of Rochester right now. So, for those of you that are outside of Rochester that listen, we obviously got a new mayor at the beginning of the year. Her name, first of all, it's a woman. She's black. Doesn't really matter that she's black or she's a woman. But it just seems like this woman is not doing her job. She's in Washington, D.C. like pretty much at least 3 or 4 times a month. Let's see, she's in Albany at least 1 or 2 times a month. Her security force consisted of one of her family members who I think stepped down. And he got ticketed by troopers because he was speeding twice. And then now, which is the one part that really pisses me off, her deputy mayor, which, okay, well, for context, he was the deputy mayor under Tom Richards, who was the previous mayor. He basically was pulled over. I believe it was a DUI that he was pulled over for. And he did offer his resignation to her because, you know, you're deputy mayor of the city of Rochester. You don't need to be doing that shit. And not only did she not accept it, but she told him to take a couple personal days, and now he's back at work, apparently. I don't know about anybody else out there, but who the fuck gets off with a DUI? If I had a DUI, my license would probably be gone. My job would probably be gone. And I probably would be sitting at home doing nothing. So I don't know about you, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I think I understand now why people raised up and wanted Tom Richards to stay as mayor, because now you can see why.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the beauties of the show is that, you know, we don't always agree on certain things. And you know, I'm a little more, not that you're right wing, because I don't think you're right wing, but, you know, I'm a little more left, you know, and you know, I'm like the first person to say, oh, well, give her a shot, you know, and you know, being a fan of, you know, for, once again, for people in Rochester, which is probably 1% of our audience, but everyone else, you know, there's a famous local radio show, Brother Weeze. Anyone who's fans of Opie and Anthony has already heard of him.
Yes.
You know, she's been on his show, and I actually, you know, I kind of, you know, she gained a little bit more of my support when she went on the Brother Weeze show, because I'm a fan of his show and stuff like that. Now, that being said, you know, she's making me regret me giving her my support. You know, like I said, I'm very much a left guy, you know.
And you're a Democrat too, right?
Yeah, I'm a Democrat, you know.
I'm a Democrat too. I really want to give this woman a chance, but it's just like, I want to go over to the wall and just hit my head against the fucking wall every time I see something happen with this woman. It's like, in the whole time that Tom Richards, who took over for, who's now the lieutenant governor of our state, Duffy, never once did we have these kinds of scandals. The minute she comes into fucking office, we've already had, this is the 2nd or 3rd scandal that we've had. I mean...
Yeah, because it's funny, because while you were talking, I kind of just, I just did a quick, like, Google search or whatever. Okay, so she took office, whatever, sometime super duper early January. January 6th, you know, there's an article from, you know, the big newspaper up here is the Democrat and Chronicle, January 6th, where it says she hires 2 bodyguards and her uncle.
Yep.
And she kind of hires her uncle basically as a bodyguard, but, you know, but what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it's, you know, he's, you know, she hires him as a bodyguard, but he doesn't even have like a clearly defined job.
Well,
so that's like obviously like, you know, the word nepotism, you know, where, you know,
right.
You look out for your friends and family and stuff.
Let's give this a little context, because I will be fair about this. You know, this guy was he was a part of a protective service for former governors. So he's not, this isn't something that hasn't happened before, but the problem wasn't the fact that I don't think it was so much that it was her uncle. It was the fact that not only was it her uncle, but no other mayor of Rochester, excuse me, has had a protective force, or a security force, I guess is the best way to say it. Bodyguards, whatever you want to call it. But all of a sudden Mayor Warren needs to have that. You know what I mean? So it's, it's kind of like, okay, so you're going to take money out of the taxpayer's dollar for protective service when no other mayor in Rochester has ever needed protective service.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, and once again, I'm like super duper left wing, pinko communist fucking person over here. And even I can say that, that's the word for, the communist.
And Pinko was his name. Oh, sorry.
And, like all these, first and foremost, hiring a guy and basically, okay. And once again, while you're talking and I'm listening, but I'm also kind of reading, he was a former investigator with the state police.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, state police, let's be real here, especially in New York State, it's all white boys. So to be a black guy on New York State trooper or state police or whatever, that's nothing to shake a stick at. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that being said, he didn't officially have like a clearly defined job. And it's like, it's such a ridiculous thing to say, here, I'm going to hire my uncle to whatever, even if it was a clearly defined job as bodyguard. Like, okay, there are benefits to having a family member in a high political position.
Yeah, but do you want to be put in that situation where people are going to question you?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, could you at least, like, I don't know, go let him be in charge of something far away or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you, why would you make it? Yeah, why would you do something so ridiculously, blatantly obvious? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have given him an office somewhere and, made him, whatever, I'm, chief of Parks and Recreation,
Shoe shiner. I don't know. Something.
Hey.
I don't know.
There's a tinge of racism in that goddamn.
Oh,
no.
We're politically correct. Oh, God.
No, but I'm just saying is that, he could have, she could have easily have put him somewhere, whatever, call him a consultant, call him, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's so, and they're questioning her ethics. And let me see, I had like another, and there are clearly defined anti-nepotism. There's an anti-nepotism policy from what I'm reading here. I
just love it when you say nepotism. Continue.
Nepotism, yeah. It's, I still got a raging nerd boner.
Oh, God.
All I'm saying is that, and then now, like you said, with the DUI and getting a slap on the wrist, because, you're connected to the mayor. I mean, and Jesus Christ, I mean, these people, it's the end of March, people. It's like she hasn't even been in office freaking like a quarter of the year, and people are already fucking, doing shit, if it was like towards the end of her term or whatever, and people start fucking up and she's looking out for them, that's okay. But you got to put your fucking people in check, man. If they're fucking up already, like, so that's it. No jobs for anybody.
But I mean, it's just we've already had 3 strikes, and be honest with you, if one more thing happens bad with this mayor, that's when the people of Rochester should just be like, you know what, you're embarrassing the city. Just step down, get somebody else in the office. Hopefully, not your deputy mayor who just got into a DUI, and just give it to somebody else. Like, let's do a special election or something, because at this point, it's just. No, like you've proven to us that you can't be mayor. If you can't even control your inner workings, like, and it's not the fact that you said, okay, well, the deputy mayor has a medical condition, I'm not going to take his resignation, blah, 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 blah. It's not just that. It's the fact that, if you're going to do that, your deputy mayor just said, I'm going to resign. You know what you do? You say, okay, fine, I'm not going to let him resign, but you know what? I'm not going to let him come back to work right this second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he needs to go and get alcohol counseling. He needs to do all this stuff, and then maybe in 6 months he can come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Every other job, I mean, you could freaking, every other state, city, I mean, every other municipal job, if you say, I have a problem, you're like covered by like, unions and stuff like that, where you can go and, take the time that you need and get your help that you need or whatever. Right. and then get back to work, I mean,
it's just to me, like, this is one of those situations where she could have led and she failed to lead. And this is just another example of why this woman, and okay, fine, she is a woman and she is black, but if there was a white woman and she was doing the same thing, I would tell her to get the fuck out too. No offense, but and I hate to say this, but you know, I was watching. It's interesting because I was watching when this happened, the day that this was happening. I was watching a comedy special with Steve Harvey in it, and you know, the one interesting thing he said is somebody had asked him, and this was before I think it was the first election that Barack Obama was going in. They asked him, who you're going to vote for, and he's like, Barack Obama. And they said, well, you know, we're having a nice conversation here. I hope you don't take offense to this, but are you voting for him because of, you know, his views and everything, or are you voting for him because he's black? And Steve Harvey said, I'm voting for him because he's black. and it just, to me, I'm hoping that, because let's face it, the city of Rochester is predominantly black. Let's put it out there. The whole city is predominantly black. And I just hope that we didn't vote this woman in, or should I say the people of the city of Rochester, because I live in Henrietta. I'm hoping that they didn't vote him in because, or her in, I'm sorry. Yes, Barack Obama's our mayor. Vote her in because she was black, you know, because you know, it just didn't. It doesn't seem to me. It kind of seems to me that that's what was going on here, you know. And I just really hope that we can turn things around. Because if she doesn't turn things around and something else happens, I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm going to basically put up petitions and be like, get this fucking woman out, because she's a fucking embarrassment. This is a fucking embarrassment to the whole, not only the state, but to the nation, man. Like, if CNN picked this shit up, we would look so fucking bad. It's not even funny.
The opinions of Paul Pascrillo don't necessarily reflect those of Two Strangers One Podcast and or Christopher Colon. No, I'm just... And like I said, you know, I was probably a huge supporter of hers until she took office and all this shit happened. And so it's kind of, you know...
All right, well,
it's leaving with a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I know. Let's move on to a different topic. Before we get into anything nerdy, which I think we should do after the break, I noticed on your Facebook the other day that you, I think it was like 5 years ago was when you were with your ex or something.
Yeah, no, 5 years ago. You know, it's funny that we sit here and we talk about Rochester, because basically you're my only friend in Rochester right now, and you're a stranger.
That's why it's Two Strangers One Pod.
Because I pretty much have alienated everyone else I know here in Rochester. But that being said, 5 years ago, just the other day, was what would have had me and my baby mama still been together, our 3-year anniversary. Even though we've known each other since 2006, I guess we officially started dating in 2009. And so it was just about 5 years ago, a little more than 5 years ago, and actually... It wasn't my first trip up to Rochester, because that was officially 6 months before. No, not 6 months, like 9 months before that. But, and I should have known this was going to be a problem. My first trip up here...
I should have known this was going to be a problem. Continue.
My first trip up here, and true, honest to God, true story. My baby mama, this is back when we weren't dating officially at the time. Like I said, this was 9 months prior to me starting to come up here. I had called her in the morning, and I knew I was on my way up there. And I had said, okay. Now, mind you, I had called her literally about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I said, look, you know, and we had planned this and everything like that. And I said, all right, I'll see you in about 6 hours. Cause, you know, and so I had, called her. By the time I got up here, she had been arrested. Or should I say not arrested, rearrested, because she had violated her parole. So, so by the time I got up here, I had driven 6 hours to once again, for people who aren't familiar with the geography of New York State, I was from New York City. I drove to Rochester. I was 6 hours in my car. And within the 6 hours of me calling her and being up here, she had gotten rearrested for violating parole. So that I should have taken my fucking, I should have kept my ass in fucking New York City. You know, I would say about 9 months later, I came back. And, besides my daughter, I love my daughter. I love my daughter with the intense love that generations of evolution have drilled into my head, that you must love your child.
Intense love.
I love my daughter intensely. I love my daughter with the intensity of 1,000 burning suns.
Just watch the intensity, please.
My daughter is the only positive thing that has come out of the relationship that I've had with my baby mama. I lost my house. I lost my career. I lost God knows how much money. I've lost, my freedom because I did spend a night in county jail. It's just one night, but I mean, hey, before I die, I can say, hey, I spent the night in county jail. And then, worse, I know I'm making a joke of it or whatever, but, because of dealing with my baby mama, I don't have custody of my daughter, and I'm only allowed to visit my daughter. My daughter visits me 3 times a week. And I'm working and I'm fighting to get custody of my daughter back. But so it's like in the past 5 years, my life has, besides the birth of my daughter, my life has been in a steady fucking decline. And then I am. I'm 6 hours away from everyone that I used to know and love. And thank goodness for Facebook, because I'm still in contact with a lot of the people I grew up with. But I'm still 5 years later, and I'm still a fucking stranger in a strange land. Up here in Rochester, because last year I started socializing a bit, and I made a couple of friends, and I was dating a girl or whatever. But then I couldn't. I don't know. Honestly, that girl kind of, broke my heart. Well, not broke my heart, because we weren't dating long enough for her to break my heart. But, things didn't work out, and I kind of I blasted everybody, because you know what it was? It was kind of boring hanging out with these people, and when your idea of having a good time is sitting around a bonfire, every weekend, literally every weekend, doing nothing but drink and sitting around a bonfire, when you're someone like me who doesn't drink, it's not really that fun, So, I kind of alienated. I have, besides you, Paul, I have absolutely no friends in Rochester. I have people that I'm cool with, my coworkers that I work with some pretty cool people. I've worked with some pretty cool people, but no one that I would say friend besides you. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of so, thank goodness for the internet. And once again, this podcast is fucking therapy, because, at least I get to talk to people, because, if it wasn't for, that and Facebook, but even Facebook gets a little but, I would have fucking climbed a clock tower and started fucking shooting people from, probably missing, but I would have been at least trying to shoot people from the fucking clock tower. So, this podcast has kept me out of jail. So I guess that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Okay, let's kind of a little, I guess not really getting on the nerdy stuff, but, Fred Phelps, founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, most, popularly known as the God Hates Fags minister, the people who protested at soldiers' funerals and I know they've protested a lot of they wanted to protest oops, and my cat just dropped the microphone. Do you hear me, Paul?
I do hear you.
Oh, okay. My fucking cat can't fucking sit still. He was it Fred Phelps? He's dead. He's gonna rot in hell, because he was protesting, even when those kids got shot in Connecticut, when it was the school shooting, they had people protesting at the funerals of the kids that were killed, because his mentality was that since America allows gay people to be married and have sex and everything like that, that we deserve to have school shootings, because since we allow homosexuals to get married and have sex and everything like that, it's our fault, and God hates us, and God hates fags, and mind you, when I say that, I'm quoting, I'm not saying that. That's definitely not my opinion. So Fred Phelps, burn in hell. So he's finally dead, and coincidentally, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Dave Brockie, otherwise known as Oderus Urungus, basically the lead singer of Gwar, also died in the same week. So what a weird fucking combination of people to die. In the same
yeah,
week.
I've noticed.
Fred Phelps and Oderus Urungus, hell just got a hell of a lot more interesting. So that's kind of, I thought that was pretty funny. Just, it was a weird coincidence. Now it's funny that you mentioned my baby, earlier, I was just a second ago, I was talking about my baby mama. She called me last night. My baby mama. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Okay. With the most bullshit excuse. Cause she calls me And, my phone rings and she goes, no, mind you, she goes, who is this? She calls me. I'm like, who? I said, you call a phone number and you ask who this is? And she goes, oh no, I got a new cell phone and I switched the SIM card from one phone to the next. And, I have all these numbers and I don't recognize. I said, you kidding me? What a fucking bogus excuse to like when you call somebody. So she had called me last night and, and I was cool. I was calm. I was collected. I wasn't rude or anything like that. I mean, I have every reason to be rude, but she wasn't being rude to me. But it was just
she could actually get in trouble for doing that too.
Yeah. I mean, she called me. Now then, mind you, so the phone call gets disconnected, whatever dropped call or whatever. I'm pretty sure she's on, I don't know what plan she's on, but I know she's like on one of those like prepaid cell phone deals, like a Net 10 or Boost or, or Track Phone or one of those cheapy prepaid phone dealies. So the phone call drops. And then she calls back. You know what I'm saying? It would be one thing, okay, you make a phone call, let's just say you do hypothetically don't recognize the number. Like you don't know every fucking number by heart. Because one thing I have to say, my baby mama is, she has a fucking mind like a steel trap. You know what I'm saying? Like she remembers everything. And I'm like, you don't remember a fucking phone number? You can remember a conversation we had fucking 3 years ago, but you don't remember a fucking phone number. So, and especially that it's the phone number of the father of one of your children. So she, and like I said, the phone call dropped and then she called again. Of course, it takes two to tango. I didn't have to answer the phone call, but I did, just because I was kind of like, I was waiting for the fucking other shoe to drop. I was waiting for there to, I thought it was just like, okay, what's the catch? What's the, like, I'm waiting for the, could I borrow a couple dollars? Or, could you come pick me up somewhere or something like that? Let me continue to use you like an ATM or a chauffeur. So my baby mama called me, and shit. Yeah. So that was that, and then the phone call dropped again, but then she texted me and says, oh, I didn't hang up. She goes, I didn't hang up on you. The phone call dropped. And I didn't even respond. Like both times, like I said, it takes two to tango. I shouldn't have even answered the phone the second time, but. Yeah,
so but your phone.
Yeah. So she called me. So it's kind of, whatever. But I did have, for people who've been listening to the show and following everything that's going on, I did have a missed connection, because, I've been on the dating sites. I've been on Tinder. I've been on Plenty of Fish. So I get a notification today, right before I go to work. I'm literally like 2 minutes away from going out the door to go to work. It says, so-and-so wants to meet you, because on Plenty of Fish, there's an option to, like, if you want to meet somebody, you click yes, and then it lets that person know. So it's kind of a way of saying, like, it's kind of, because sometimes, like, when you don't really have a message to write somebody, like if you look at somebody and you go, okay, they seem fairly attractive, they don't look like a total psycho, I want to contact them, but you don't really have like an angle, like, their profile is kind of like vague and shit like that. You can put the option that you want to meet them. So it said, so-and-so wants to meet you. And I said, all right, but I was on my way to work. So I was like, all right, I'll get to this later. And, I honestly, not that I forgot about it, but I'm busy at work doing work shit. I get home, I get back on my phone, and it's like the fucking person it's like the person never existed. Because I had went through the photos, saying, of course, let's be real here. The first thing you're going to do is look at their photos. You want to make sure, the person's not, and honestly, this particular profile was a profile that I've checked out before because the face looked familiar. And I guess I don't know. I doubt anyone can help me. But one of the pictures must obviously have just been recently from St. Patrick's Day, because it was, and that's the one thing that I thought would have been a problem, was like 2 or 3 of the pictures were like her in a bar, and I'm like, all right, me not drinking and her taking pictures in a bar. Probably not a good combination. But she had a clover leaf painted onto her cheek, and she was wearing like a green top hat, one of those ridiculously oversized top hats or whatever. So, if someone knows someone with a picture like that, which is pretty much, I guess, every fucking person, every drunk white girl on fucking St. Patrick's Day, so I guess in Rochester, that would,
something like that.
I didn't look at the name, of course, guys being guys, just looking right at the picture. And so but then again, like, then the fucking profile just straight up, like, evaporated, disappeared, like never fucking, And it can't be just me having a fucking delusion or something like that. I mean, I've been taking my medicine. I don't think I'm having a fucking hallucination.
Have you been taking your medicine?
Actually, yeah, I have. But
Are we sure about this? Do I have to check?
yes, I've been taking my meds. I've got my, well, I don't know. But that being said, yeah. So I kind of had a misconnection. I probably could have met somebody, and that didn't work out. So we're about at that mark where it's time we'll take a break, and we've finished the first half of the show, which was more like everyday life things, and I guess we'll be back with the more nerdy half of the show. I'll be right back with more dick and fart jokes.
Yay!
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
This episode of Two Strangers One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
And we're back. Okay, so what do you got for? Okay, let's talk about X-Men: Days of Future Past. Holy shit!
Oh, now you can pull your dick out. Okay.
Oh, I'm stroking it right now. And I'm looking at the poster right now, and it's like, it just looks fucking badass. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, oof, and that's the funny thing. And I know she's not like, I mean, she's way out of my league, but I'm just saying by Hollywood standards, but she is just, and I don't want to say she's ugly because she's not. I'm just saying is that she's not like this model thin, whatever. But like, I mean, of course, this poster is obviously airbrushed or whatever, but she looks fucking slamming. It's for you to fill the shoes of Rebecca Romaine Stamos and still fucking be sexy. You know what I'm saying? And she's fucking working it, man. She looks fucking good. Like I said,
we're talking about the girl that is in Hunger Games.
And she did, like, I guess the funniest name, Winter's Bone was the name of the movie that, like, her first movie that she did, where she was kind of like this rednecky girl, like a girl who lived out in fucking, like, literally lived like in a trailer park, like not even a trailer park, like in a trailer out in the middle of the fucking woods and shit like that. Where in that movie she was definitely had like the baby fat on her and stuff like that, a good actress, I mean, but she's fucking sexy, man. I mean, I don't know, it's hard not to like Jennifer Lawrence, I think, unless you're one of those people that some people, like, there's like a backlash, like so many people like her that now people don't like her, because I guess it's cool to not like things that other people like or whatever. But, I think she's sexy. And it is funny to look at the poster right now also, and you see, there's Halle Berry as Storm, which from what I understand recently, like, they've pretty much cut out all her scenes in the movie.
No, they didn't cut her scenes out. That was because Bryan Singer quickly came up online and went, no, that's not the case at all. So.
Okay. I mean, honestly, she's a take it or leave it, honestly. I mean, I love Halle Berry. I mean, watching her get fucked silly in Monsters Ball was probably that's probably one of the best, like, that particular scene. Did you ever see Monsters Ball with her and Billy Bob Thornton?
No, I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Oh, when he fucks her silly in that movie. And honestly, that particular scene, I think, was probably more erotic than some fucking straight up porn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a great fucking scene. So, Halle Berry has a special place in my heart.
Special.
She was never really a strong, like, for someone like, for someone who, is Storm, for Storm, that's such an important character to the X-Men universe. Her performances were always kind of give or take. Like, it was never really important that she was in these movies. Like, people didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna go see X-Men for Halle Berry." So whether she's cut out or not really doesn't affect the fact that I'm gonna go run seeing this movie. I mean, a Sentinel shooting from his face, that's definitely gonna fucking make me go see the movie. But I just love that like she's like almost damn near the center of the poster. But I guess, like you said, I guess that they confirm. Well, Bryan Singer has said that she is going to be in the movie, and not for nothing. I mean, Fox movies, is it Fox? Yeah, 20th Century Fox. The X-Men DVDs were, for at least the first two, were fucking loaded with extra shit. Like, for someone like me that like, I like to watch all the extra features, and I'll watch the behind the scenes and director's commentary. Even if Halle Berry's Storm, whatever, was cut from the movie, I guarantee you, once the Blu-ray came out, you'd see all, they'd pack the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever with all the stuff that hit the cutting room floor, because those DVDs are dense. Like, you could literally like probably watch like 10 hours worth of stuff, and it's all original on top of including the movie.
Well, what is it? What's her name? I'm trying to think of what her name is. The girl that plays Rogue. I can't think of what her name is, but she got cut out too.
Yeah, I remember that.
So basically, Bryan Singer said that it's probably going to be on the DVD, but it had to be cut out, which sucks. But
and then Juno, whatever her name, is she in the movies?
I've seen her in the trailer. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you.
But we see, and it's funny because like, while, once again, for the audience, before we started recording, you had said, watch the trailer. So you're listening to my reaction of watching the trailer, and for some reason I blanked on the name of Colossus, and I'm like, ooh, Russian metal guy. Which in the movies he's not really Russian, right?
I won't hold it against you.
Because in the movies they really don't. Because I guess maybe I'm a little spoiled by the X-Men cartoon. Because I've always kind of pictured Colossus as like having like that thick, like super stereotypical Russian accent, like moose and squirrel,
Oh God,
comrades, today we fight for our brothers, And of course, I mean the unstoppable force of fucking Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, like that goes without fucking saying. And not to take anything away from the guys who play the younger Magneto and Professor X. I mean, those guys are great actors. Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. But I mean, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are. And do you follow at all, or do you see like the pictures they post online, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart? Because apparently they hang out all the time.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like there's pictures of them playing fucking skee ball and Coney Island and then I saw like a picture where like someone was taking a picture of Hugh Jackman, and then Patrick Stewart kind of just like stuck his head in the background, like photo bombing. It's like, like these guys, it makes me happy to know that these guys are doing like shit that looks like they're having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're providing us with entertainment, and I was a big Star Trek nerd, and of course, Ian McKellen with the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like, it makes me kind of like happy to know that they're having fun. They deserve to be having fun. I don't know. So what have you got for us? So what have you got for because you said that comingsoon.net was really
oh yeah, so comingsoon.net, basically, people can comment on there and blah blah blah, and these people, I think it wasn't involving this movie, it was involving Apocalypse, because a lot of people are pissed that they're talking about Apocalypse before this comes out. And the thing that I think people are getting pissed about is the fact that I don't know where it originated from, but pretty much like people are talking about, well, X3 was terrible, so he's probably gonna fuck this up, and I'm like, and I'm sitting there going, first of all, Bryan Singer didn't do X3, he did X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. So, oh, and by the way, he saved you by bringing back Patrick Stewart and Magneto, so shut the fuck up and deal with it. So it's just funny to see how people are so misinformed. Now, okay, Bryan Singer did go off and did do Superman Returns, and obviously that was why he couldn't do the third X-Men.
Mhm.
But at the same time, here's the thing. Bryan Singer didn't write the script, didn't direct X-Men 3. Ultimately, at the end of the day, and I can't remember who did X-Men 3, but they were the one.
But it's the same guy who did like Rush Hour.
Yeah, no. You see, is it Brett Ratner?
Yeah, Brett Ratner.
Okay.
That's his name.
He was the one that fucked it up. It wasn't Bryan Singer. It was Brett Ratner. Okay, so let's give credit where it fucking is. Okay, Bryan Singer is trying to bring back a franchise that essentially was dead because, well, X-Men 3 killed everybody. So you know, I just find it funny that people are so stupid enough to sit there and go, I'm going to blame Bryan Singer for something that wasn't his fault. Oh my god, people are stupid. I don't know.
Yeah. And speaking of Brent Ratner, have you seen the pictures for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Hercules?
Not only have I seen the pictures, I've seen the preview trailer that just came out today.
Oh, okay. See, once again,
And it looks
beat me to the punch.
Well, hey, I'm good at these things. It's just a trail. It's just like a preview, one of those preview trailers that shows you virtually nothing. So it's, you know, I'm interested to see it because of how much The Rock is like promoting this film. Like he is promoting this film like it's like his end all be all kind of thing. It's kind of interesting because it's like,
well, I mean, if there was any movie that would be the ultimate Rock movie, because I mean, a lot of people were kind of speculating that he would do Conan the Barbarian, because there was a lot of rumor back in the day that he was going to be the next Conan the Barbarian, not Conan O'Brien.
Yes, Conan O'Brien.
So I mean, for Hercules, I mean, you can't do, because I mean, we got a kind of taste of it with like the Scorpion King and stuff like that, where, you know, but I mean, like him being Hercules, you're not going to get any more there's not going to be, no other movie would be perfectly suited for him,
right?
You know, there's a big fucking giant monster of a fucking guy, you know.
Well, and it's funny because he said that he put pretty much, not only he secluded himself and put like 8 months into this film, so it's going to be interesting to see how this film is, because if it sucks, then you're going to sit there and go, but if it does really well, you know, and it is a really good movie, you know, this could be a big stepping stone for The Rock, and maybe we'll see him in, you know, bigger and better movies, you know.
Yeah, because you know, recently, like The Rock, I mean, like, you know, they put him in the Fast and the Furious, like to kind of rejuvenate it. You know, they put him in G.I. Joe 2 to rejuvenate it. You know, I was getting sick and tired of, like, you know, Witch Mountain or whatever, Race to Witch Mountain, and what's the one, you know, where he was a tooth fairy, or the one where like he's a football player and then he finds out he has like a illegitimate daughter or whatever the case may be. You know, that shit was wearing real thin. You know, and I don't, you know, I want to see The Rock. You know, if I'm going to go see a movie with The Rock in it, I want him kicking ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see him driving a car, you know, because there was a lot of rumors that they were going to do a Spy Hunter movie based on the video games. Where, you know, and Spy Hunter was basically, it's a driving movie, you know what I'm saying? Well, which is, you know, Fast and the Furious. I mean, like, you got to remember too, like, it's still just a rumor, but he could be the Green Lantern in the new, what I'm going to call the Justice League movie, basically. Yeah, Superman versus Batman, which, whatever. You know, he's too big to be Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? That's what she said. He's too big. He's too big. Anyways, but I'm just saying. So if Hercules sucks, blame Brett Ratner. Yep. If Hercules is awesome, credit The Rock. Yeah. Because I mean, he definitely has charisma. I mean, I'm a old school, not old. It's sad for me to say old school wrestling when I'm only talking about like 15 years ago. But you know, I mean, I was a fan. I was really, really, really into the WWE around the time that The Rock was like at the top of his game when it came to just wrestling. You know, I want him to do well. You know, and you know, when I see Brett Ratner connected to it, I'm kind of like, but you know. I'm hoping that we'll see what happens. Yeah, I want The Rock to do good, you know, and let this be his. I mean, you know, because The Rock credits Arnold Schwarzenegger as being his, you know, one of his idols or whatever. And what was the one he did a movie where like Arnold Schwarzenegger like walks by him for like 2 seconds and says like, you know, you got it from here or something like that, where there was kind of, It was one, I think it was it Standing Tall? It was
Mike.
one of those. Yeah, there was a movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of showed his face in for 2 seconds. So hopefully this will be Hercules will be to The Rock what Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer and all those movies was to Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I don't know. I hope it works out for
See
him.
what happens.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping, like, if they have an Expendables 3, that they finally put him in, because a lot of people want to see The Rock in that.
Oh.
And I think he would do. I think it would just be incredible with The Rock. Even if he's a bad guy, I think it would be fucking just incredibly awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the fact that he's, like I said, I mean, like as has been pointed out on the internet, the fact that they brought him into GI Joe. They brought him
I
into
was going to
Fast
say
and
that
Furious.
they brought him into GI Joe, and it was 10 times better. Like, I thought, like, I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I went into G.I. Joe thinking that this was going to be the biggest pile of shit that you could ever put on the face of the earth, the second one. Mm-hmm. Because, you kill off Channing Tatum in the first, that was part of the reason why they shelved it for a while. Because people found out about that and they got pissed. So they shelved it. Well, the movie ended up being just incredibly good because... Like, normally when you kill off a main character like that, like, and we're talking about Channing Tatum here, girls are going to be pissed, they're not, oh, fucking piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. You would think that it would kill a movie. It actually, because of The Rock, and, I'm not going to just credit The Rock here. I'm going to credit, Bruce Willis, too, because I think both of them made that movie. If they weren't in that movie would have bombed. And because of those two, that made that movie better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I thought it was well done. We'll see what happens. I mean, like, we've seen, I think the best thing to say about Hercules is, Brett Ratner is kind of like Michael Bay. They make these great trailers and they suck you in, but then when you get to the movie, you're kind of like,
yeah, all style, no substance.
Right. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. And I could, I'm gonna want to like it. I guess I could I'll put it like that. I want to like it. Okay. What am I gonna say? Okay, have you seen this Rick and Morty show?
Yes.
Now, I know I've said this earlier. I was talking about people who don't like things that are popular because they think it makes them cool for not liking something that other people like. Is it weird to say that I don't like it?
What don't you like about it?
Okay, and here's my angle on it, and because it was recommended to me by I've heard some people talking about it online, and then it was recommended to me. So I kind of like OD'd on Rick and Morty. Like I watched everything. I was watching freaking Comic-Con panels from last year about it and stuff like that, and because Rick and Morty, which I guess at one time was called Doc and Marty. Which the similarity to
they would have gotten sued probably for that, but yeah,
from Back to the Future. One of the co-creators is Dan Harmon, also from most famously from the show Community, the showrunner for Community up until this past season. And what I don't like about the show is that, and what it reminds me of Community, is that it tries too hard to be meta, like as in, it tries too hard to like, oh, this is a cartoon, and like we acknowledge that we're a cartoon, and you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to kind of like put into words, but I guess, it tries too hard to be meta. It tries too hard to like recognize the fact that it's a cartoon. And that it's being like it's almost like they're trying too hard. And I know like everyone seems to have loved this most recent episode where they were watching TV channels from another universe or whatever the case may be. And like they literally released the entire episode on Instagram in like 6-second bits. and I actually sat there and clicked like 200 some odd times to watch the whole episode on Instagram, only because I wanted to see what people are talking about. And like, it's just like, it's to me, it feels like the Emperor's New Clothes. I think like people want to like it because you're supposed to like it. And I don't like it. I'm the kid saying the Emperor has no clothes. I'm the kid saying, I think the show is trying way too fucking hard to be witty, and it's not. I mean, of course, I'm making a big deal over a fucking cartoon, but I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I really think that it's not trying hard at all. I think they're just trying to do whatever they can. And there was a scene in one of these episodes where this one alien dude tries to rape Morty, and like it didn't get pulled from the air, so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's Adult Swim, so
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's sacrilege, to talk
Well,
against the show.
okay, but let's be honest. It's not a Futurama and it's not a Family Guy, but it does have its own teeth, and I think it's going to be successful for Adult Swim.
Yeah, for some reason it really, really, really reminds me of Invader Zim, and for some reason, and I loved Invader Zim, and it's like I don't know, and it's funny because and not that but Invader Zim never made a joke that it was a cartoon. Like the fact that it kind of like makes jokes about that it's a cartoon, even though it is a cartoon. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just
cartoon, even though it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a hand it's a picture of a hand drawing a hand. You know what I'm saying? It's trying too hard.
Right.
I don't know. So like I said, I get it, but I don't get it. I get it, but I don't like it, I guess would be the best way to put it. Okay, here's another wonderfully nerdy bit of news. Evangeline Lilly, also known as Kate from Lost, has been announced or has basically let it be known on her Twitter that she's going to be in the Ant-Man movie. So, did you ever watch Lost?
I didn't really get into it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those deals where like I know a lot of people were disappointed by the ending. I kind of like, J.J. Abrams, he's very hit or miss. Sometimes his stuff is fucking brilliant or his shit is utter shit.
Him and I want to say Brett Ratner is really big into TV series too. Like,
Brett.
Yeah,
he's because it's funny. I looked him up. He's like, I mean, once again, like Brett. Like, well, okay. One of the first credits that he has here is that he was a producer on Prison Break. And I loved Prison Break. But then again, as the seasons went on, it kind of like, it got fucking ridiculous.
Right.
And the same thing like Lost. I mean, the first season of Lost is like fucking fantastic. And actually, I liked all the seasons of Lost. I have the box set. I actually have the DVD box set. I loved it, but you can tell that they kind of like were just making it up as they were going along. Like you could tell that they were kind of like, okay, what's this now? Like they were trying way too fucking hard. But not in a way that Rick and Morty were trying way too hard.
Oh God!
They were kind of spinning plates on that show. There's a lot of stuff that didn't need to be said that got said, but I don't know, for some reason I liked Lost. I mean, I maybe because Lost, to be honest, like it was funny, Lost was so good. I actually started watching episodes for free on Hulu back when Hulu actually showed fucking regular normal TV shows like without having to charge you or anything like that. And I liked it so much that I just ran out and bought the box set. Like that was like the smartest bit of marketing on their hand, letting it be on Hulu because they got $200 of my money. Or was it? No, it wasn't $200. It was like $100, but it was like, no, excuse me. It was like $120. So I had like I got the deluxe box set that I had like hidden, and it was like they actually hid a DVD inside like this piece of cardboard, like I found it, but like if you weren't really paying attention, you could have missed out. They actually hid a DVD in the box,
right?
In the stuff that came with the box. If you weren't paying attention, you would just think it's like a map. Like, oh, here's this cool looking thick cardboard map. But when you realize if you do a couple things, there's actually a behind the scenes DVD on there, which I think is fucking brilliant. So Evangeline Lilly, who, I mean, I liked her on Lost, even though I liked her on Lost, even though it was easy to hate her character. It was very easy to hate Kate. Because Kate you just wanted to fucking smack upside the head. But I mean, she's a good actress. I think she's a good actress. When you hate a person's character, and has nothing to do with her, because I don't know her, but I hated her character. But I guess that makes her a good actress. I don't know. What else? Let me see.
We should talk about Power Rangers here.
Oh, okay, go right ahead.
So, I don't know if anybody's been watching Power Rangers. And I know some of you might be going, Power Rangers, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What is this, 1994?
So, if you guys haven't been keeping up on Power Rangers at all, which I don't usually do that, but now that, we might see the Green Ranger back in, his name is Jason David Frank, because when I was a kid, the Power Rangers were on. I don't remember what grade I was in when I first debuted, but
1993. I was just making a joke, like
Jesus Christ.
I just pulled it up on IMDb. 1993. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like this shit. So basically, like, I've been just continually watching this show, and what's going on with the Super Megaforce right now? Power Rangers Megaforce is basically part of, I guess, the 10-year anniversary of Power Rangers. Obviously 2013 was when it was on, so 10 years anniversary. Obviously, now they're the Super Megaforce, which they can morph into any Ranger from the past, not like literally change into like Tommy or something like that, but like they could turn into like the Red Lightspeed Ranger, or
now mind you, also, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, your math is a little off. You mean 20-year anniversary?
20 year?
You said 10-year.
Why did somebody say 10 year to me? I don't know. Whatever. 10, 20, whatever. Yeah. It's been a long time.
21 years. That means the very first episode of Power Rangers, if it was a person, can now legally drink. Okay, I'm just wanted to just put that out there.
So, basically, like, they obviously are filming the Super Megaforce now, or they've probably already done it. It's already on, but basically, what I like about this one is, and what keeps me interested is the fact that they can just keep, like I've been saying, they can morph into any Ranger, and it just seems like, unlike the other ones where they were all like cheesy and shit, like, really. Mm-hmm. Really, you just did that? Really? Kind of things.
Space Samurai. Whatever.
Yeah, like, whatever. Now it's kind of like, okay, now you got me interested. Okay, so you can morph into any Ranger, so where's the Gold Ranger? Where's the Zeo Ranger? Or something like that, because, I when I hear, Dragon Zord, or I hear, like, fucking, Gold Ranger, I'm like, okay, when do I need to watch? Because, like, I'm in. Don't worry. I'm definitely in. Trying to think what else. Oh, and go ahead.
If you can morph into any Ranger, I mean, like, does that mean you could call their Zord? Is that what's going on? Or?
It's really weird because you can't call their Zord, but then you get, like, certain equipment from each Zord. So, like, for example, like, I'm trying to think what's Power Rangers Wild Force, I think is what it was. The Red Lion, mm-hmm. They could call the Red Lion, and they actually used it as part of the, their Zord. But, like, it's not like they can just call, like, okay, I'm going to call the Mighty Morphin Megazord, or I'm going to call the Zeo Megazord. No, they don't call that. They get, like, some kind of weapon or piece from it. It's kind of weird, but at the same time,
I have a sword that's a flute, or...
Anyways, I mean, fucking sick ass motherfucker. I mean, like I said, so far it's been very interesting to see, because I'm just sitting there going, can you just do the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers already? Yeah. Like, I'm glad you want to morph into this certain Ranger or this certain Ranger, but can I have the Mighty Morphin ones now? That's the only reason I'm watching.
Yeah, because while you're talking, I kind of jump on Wikipedia, and okay, so there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and now the rest of them all say just Power Rangers, and I'm just gonna go by the third name: Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, Jungle Fury, RPM, Samurai, Super Samurai, and now Mega Force.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. That's like
that's
18 different, not including Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, including Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 18 altogether. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It is great. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this, what happens in these next couple episodes, because there's supposed to be like a sixth Ranger too, like there always is. There's always a fucking sixth Ranger. I don't mean that to be, be a dick or anything, but there always seems to be like a sixth Ranger or something like that.
You were our enemy, now you're our friend.
Yeah, well, it doesn't always work like that, but yeah, time. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how this actually turns out, because I would like to see some of the things from the past, like see the Green Ranger, I'm kind of hoping that they kind of lied and said like the whole original Mighty Morphin team is there, because I would be like jizzing my pants. So it would be awesome to see if that happens. And I guess it's just like a wait and see game basically right now to see how like these later episodes, because they're supposed to be like, if you look at the Japanese version, because obviously it comes from the Japanese, it comes from Japan first, like anime does. you see like there's supposed to be this huge fight with Rangers from the past, like all these Rangers join up with these Rangers and just start fucking up, just start fucking up everybody, which is awesome. And I'm kind of hoping to see what this is going to have to offer. So
yeah, and Rita Repulsa, she died in 2006, but she was kind of hot back in her day.
I actually, that it's kind of funny that you say Rita Repulsa, because there's actually, and I'd have to look it up real quick. There's a fan-based thing out there that's doing a movie. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Oh, wait, where is it? I just saw it. Yes, people, see, we do this on the fly.
Intriguing. Podcasting at its finest, people.
But basically, like, it's about how the original Power Rangers came to be, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be interesting to see how that, all comes about, I guess.
Oh, okay. So it's like a fan fiction origin tale kind of a
Yeah,
deal?
it's really, okay. It looks like it's going to be really good, so...
And the things I remembered, and I swear I'm not even Googling this. Okay, so I guess they said the Red Ranger once again, I was only familiar with the original lineup. The Red Ranger eventually ended up doing like gay porn, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
I swear to God, someone, and that was one of those things that was like on the internet for a while. I
could definitely tell you, like, there is... I think it was Lost Galaxy, the Yellow Ranger. Mm-hmm. She was the one that was in Not Another Teen Movie that was walking around completely naked the whole time.
Oh, shit.
So I know that one for a fact, but other than that,
Well, and also the Black Ranger, once again from the original series. I love how, like, the Yellow Ranger's Asian, the Black Ranger is actually black. The Pink Ranger was a girl, but the Black Ranger was actually missing a finger. He's like missing like his middle finger. Because I remember there was one episode where they all had like put their hands together, like, like go team. And I was like, where the fuck is his finger?
Here it is. It's called Zordon of Eltar, a Power Rangers fan film.
Oh boy.
It's look it up. It looks like it looks like an interesting film, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to say that it's going to do well, and I'm not going to say it's not going to be like a piece of shit, but it actually looks like it could be legit. So no, I look forward to seeing what that does.
Interesting. Okay, let me see what else. What do we got? Okay. Well, I guess
there's a bed that's next to me that I can fall asleep on.
So I've been listening to this other podcast, and not that I'm cheating, I listen to a lot of podcasts. There's a podcast called The Weekly Planet, and it's like the official podcast of comicbookmovie.com. And the two gentlemen on the show are from Australia. And first and foremost, I have to say that they've earned a new fan. I think it's a hilarious show. I originally got familiar with it because one of the guys on the show, Mr. Sunday, that's one of his nicknames or his YouTube name, he did a video about everything you need to know about Guardians of the Galaxy. And he, it was an interesting video, and he does a video like twice a week or whatever, and they're all like ridiculously good, like in-depth stuff about like comic books and comic movies and stuff like that. And, then that kind of, at the end of his videos, he goes, I do a podcast or whatever. So that's how I got into it. So I've probably listened to like the most recent, like 5 or 6 episodes, and the videos that he does are fucking awesome. But, these two gentlemen are from Australia. And, so one of the guys, Mason, the other co-host, he said, I'm going to do my New York accent. So, the joke is that he doesn't do any kind of real accent. He kind of still does it in his Australian voice, where he goes, forget about it, let's go get some pizza, what's that giant gorilla climbing the building over there? So I just wanted to respond in turn. I want to do my Australian accent. Let me see, what can I say that what is that, a stingray? I'm sorry, is that a bad Steve Irwin joke?
Oh, God.
Throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
The views of Chris Cologne.
The dingo ate my baby.
God.
But I've noticed a lot of like, and this is something I just learned recently. Do you know that us as we speak American, and pretty much every other English speaking country the letter Z, they pronounce it Z. They don't say Z. The only reason Z kind of came into fruition here in the United States was that it helped the rhyme when you sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G in the same song as like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Because actually, like if you ever listen to people from England or Australia or any other English speaking country other than the United States, they refer to the letter Z as Z. Let's see. And when they say the letter H, they say H. They're like, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Don't call an Aussie a Kiwi. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the hell happened, but we got disconnected.
The call dropped and then you called back. I don't know what happened. At least it's not like going in and out. So
yeah, we're still recording. So I just just wanted to you can technically order kangaroo in Australia, as in order to eat, but they say that there's a lot of people in Australia that grew up watching a show that was called like something the bush kangaroo, like Jumpy or some shit like that, and they won't eat kangaroo because they grew up watching the show, and it was kind of like watching like Lassie, where like he was kind of like a kid's pet, and it was like, how could you watch a show? That'd be like watching a show about someone eating a dog. Okay, but I just wanted to just name some famous Australians. AC/DC, Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox. Even I don't really like him. He's the devil. As nerds, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, of course. Keith Urban, which I'm not a fan of because I don't listen to country music. Russell Crowe, Noah and the Gladiator. Chris Hemsworth, Thor. Nicole Kidman, who I don't find attractive at all. Elle Macpherson, who I do find very attractive. Naomi Watts, which was Nicole Kidman's evil clone. Rebel Wilson, Hugo Weaving from Lord of the Rings and of course the Matrix trilogy, Agent Smith.
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta, of course. And Cate Blanchett, also from Lord of the Rings. So just wanted to throw that out there for our Aussie brothers if they ever decide to listen to our show. So I just, if they're going to do a New York accent, I'm going to do my Australian accent.
Right.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Oh, God. Okay. I think it's time to get out of here.
Okay. So please visit please visit 2s1p.com.
If you haven't got turned off by the show right now, but continue.
And, I'm waiting for my tax return to come in, and I'll be sinking a couple of bucks into the show once my tax return comes in, getting a better quality website. You can visit 2s1p.com where you can find links for everything show related. My eBay, just fuck the eBay. I'm not doing eBay anymore. I've just so given up on eBay. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/2strangers1podcast. That is all spelled out. Like us, share us with your friends. Even if you don't have a dime to give to us, I mean, it'd be great if you could, but even if you don't have a dime, it takes 2 seconds to share us. There's a great video online. Right now we're a couple of likes short of 500, but there was a really good by this YouTube user called Veritasium, and I know that's and it's kind of like talking about the scam of Facebook and trying to advertise on Facebook, which I've done a long time ago, and unfortunately, like, our users aren't as engaged. Only because basically Facebook hires people to click on the fucking links and like your page. And, when I was paying for advertising, I thought it was actually going to direct people to the Facebook page that were actually fans of the show. But what it's doing is it's basically people have been hired to click the likes. But sorry, that kind of upsets me. But the few people that are, I mean, we do have some really good, really loyal, very interactive fans from all over the country, from South America, from Scotland,
from sea to shining sea.
Yeah, sea to shining sea, and hopefully we'll have we've had some Australian listeners also. So, or at least the show's been downloaded in Australia. I mean, we get that from our website. The Podomatic, our hosting site, lets us know who's downloading, and a ridiculous amount of countries have downloaded at least one episode of Two Strangers One Podcast. So you can like us on Facebook and be a real engaged listener as opposed to someone that Facebook paid to like our page. Or like I said, even if you don't have any money, you could just share us with your friends. Share us with your rich friends. If you know someone that has a lot of money, let them know to listen to our show. You can find us on Twitter at Stranger Podcast, And I guess the best way to reach us is, well, other than Facebook, of course, would be Two Strangers One Podcast at gmail.com, all spelled out, Two Strangers One Podcast at gmail.com. And that's all I can think about right now. I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right, well, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. My last name is spelled Pescrillo. You can also find me on Tumblr, paulpascrillo.tumblr.com. And I also have what's called an ask.fm where you can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. Ask me questions. I like questions. Just don't ask me like when I'm in the middle of work, like 50 different questions. Because I have people like I'll sit there and be on Monday and be like, hey, ask me questions, and nobody will ask me questions. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like some random day when something happens on Twitter, oh, we're going to ask you like 50 questions. Thanks. So, and you can also obviously visit me at ToonamiFaithful.com. Visit my site, I should say, ToonamiFaithful.com, where you can get all the news about Toonami as well as our podcast there as well. Not this podcast, but the Toonami Faithful podcast. And the last thing I want you guys to take a look at is GeekyInc.com. We have some good reviews up there of anime, of some other shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The second review came out just today, so I suggest you guys check that out. You can also, you know, we have more Nerdcore music coming up, so keep an eye out for that. And make sure if you don't have Nerdcore Absolution Volume 2, you go buy that shit right now. And that's all I got.
And a special shout out to Oscar, because he's one of our listeners from South America. And just to let him know that I've been trying to get this issue taken care of, and no one's answering my emails. Our episode 144, which is the episode I did with my mom, for some reason is on our Podomatic site, but is not on iTunes or Stitcher. And I don't know what the hell's going on there. I know, like in the beginning of the episode, I used a clip from West Side Story. So I'm hoping like it's not some bullshit copyright issue or whatever. I doubt it. I don't think anyone's really. I don't think anyone who has the
no, I don't think anybody would
to
be
block
paying
it.
that much attention. But you know, we'll see. Because you've said there's been some intros that have been rather interesting. So
Oh yeah.
I can't say like they would block that for that, but we'll see.
Yeah. So once again, just a shout out to Oscar, and just if anything, just go to our Podomatic site and you can hear that episode 144. But he's listening because he kind of mentioned some other things from our most recent episodes. And to everybody else that listens, thank you very much for listening. A shout out to Sean from Alabama man.
I feel bad for you. I hope you don't meet Darrell.
And that's right. Yeah. So that's two people that listen to our show from Alabama. So,
Yay.
So that being said, we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye.
You should be fapping
You should be fapping.
over X-Men.
A fucking laser out of his face.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double
it?
Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne smells good to me.
But
Look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
but it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women, Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her. Fucking, she's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be
so,
honest
too.
with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a fucking a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I
and
will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.